Mid-season form.
Welcome to another fantasy football show. I'm your host, Jacob, here with Taylor and Justin, here to break down action ahead of week 4. We're recording this Thursday. I know Justin just wants this to be a Packers podcast, like 45 to an hour, maybe 2 hours on the Packers, but I don't think we got time for that.
No, when we record on the Thursday, it's always tough to really hammer down on the Thursday matchup. But I will say I'm excited, but I'm also scared. The Detroit Lions are really, really good. And they're scary good. And I'll admit, I kind of root for them. They're like the little brother that, like, over the course of my fandom, you've always kind of rooted for. Yeah, you always kind of rooted for him. You gave him like the crappy controller, and you knew you were going to beat him. They got a good controller now. That's all I'll say. All right, they got a good controller, and they're competitive, and they do kind of scare me a little bit.
It was kind of cute, but then now it's threatening. So you're like, all right, hold on now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking tough because I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
No, we'll touch on it real quick. Aaron Jones going to play. Christian Watson going to play. Christian Watson likely on a snap count. I think that's already come out. First game back, he's a speedster. Interesting to see what happens with that target share. I mean, Jaden Reed's in there. Dontavian Wicks is in there. Obviously, Romeo Doubs, Justin's favorite, beasting through the first 3 weeks without Christian Watson. So we'll see. There's plenty of targets to go around. Jordan Love looks like he's spreading the ball out decently well, even to Musgrave too. So big one to watch in that matchup. But he's also down 2, maybe 3 offensive linemen, so could be an interesting day for Aiden Hutchinson as well.
They haven't had a full strength team this whole time, I feel like, and he's been okay. He hasn't been amazing, but he hasn't really made a lot of mistakes, that's all you can really ask for. I feel like
18 straight on the Saints defense, even without Derek Carr, is an achievement. So, congrats, Jordan Love. We'll give you his flowers. David Montgomery going to play through the thigh bruise.
Oh, wait a second.
Moving right on. Not going to address that at all. David Montgomery playing through his thigh bruise. Probably going to get a majority of the snaps running the ball. Taylor, we've been talking about this. It seems like they don't love Gibbs between the tackles. They love him giving him the ball in space, pass catching, all that stuff. That's what he was good at Alabama, along with running behind the Alabama offensive line. But
he needs to figure that out soon, though, because if we want him to be the fantasy darling that he's supposed to be, he needs to be able to run through the tackles too. Sorry, I just found a spider on me. I'm like freaking out right now.
But like, way to stay composed.
Yeah, but no, it's just Montgomery is obviously the clear better runner between the tackles. You saw it week 1. You're seeing it every week. I mean, and he's going to come back tonight, or the first game back this week. So you're going to see a little bit more of that. But I think he jumps right back in and has the normal carries, because that offense, when he left, they were putting in Craig Reynolds a little bit. Like, Gibbs is not the direct replacement that he should be or is yet, right? So you might have to wait a little bit, but I think he has enough talent to like figure it out. I don't think it's something that he can't do.
Yeah, they're without Vaitai on the offensive line too. It'd be a second straight week with the knee. I don't want to try to pronounce his first name. His name's Vaitai. Right guard Vaitai.
Right guard Vaitai, like Detroit Lions, yes.
Yeah, Detroit Lions, right guard Vaitai. Taylor Decker's going to be back, so that moves Sewell over back to the right side. That's a better for their offensive line. So good things going forward, hopefully.
Better players right at their right positions, exactly, yeah.
Let's talk 2 interesting ones, Saquon Barkley and Austin Ekeler. At SIXScore.com, we had high ankle sprain for Saquon right when it happened, week 2, kind of in a pile, but you couldn't really see the injury mechanism. But based on the way he was falling on, doc said high ankle. Team said ordinary sprain. Saquon, talking to Taylor Rooks, said it's a high ankle. Just completely pulled the sheet off of that one. Meanwhile, Austin Eckler's on his podcast detailing every day of swelling, every hour of swelling.
When to pick up Josh Kelly, everything. He tells us everything we need to. Yes.
So yeah, Ekeler has been like a fantasy hero, right? Like he loves fantasy football. He's been like on the front lines, and he does feel like he's giving insider information. But I'll tell you, he led a lot of people astray with Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
All right? He led a lot of people astray.
You think he's telling him that in the locker room?
Like, yeah. Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Sorry, man. I hyped you up and you let everybody down.
I think he did it on purpose.
Telling people to pick up Josh Kelly, but he is in fact not picking up.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question. What does it go too far? Because Austin Ekeler was saying, I need me back this week too, because I got me on my fantasy team.
That's
so,
weird to me. Like, I love him. I love fantasy football. Yeah. He's a good player, but like that's when I think it is too far. I think there needs to be a certain separation. Like sometimes I might not want to hear my own fantasy players talk. You know what I mean? I just want to like see them like their numbers. I'm like one of I'm a numbers guy.
You want to commodify them? They're not
I
people
sound like I'm
anymore.
a prison guard. Like I sound like a prison guard. I only know them
Yeah.
by their cell number. No, but just like it's just for me. I think it shouldn't. It's a mix of worlds in a way. Like I like the analysis, but like that's what we're doing. We're doing analysis. Like for the players, like I don't know, like. I like it. It's cool though, right? Like you definitely want to see the engagement and see the interaction, but there is a certain point, I guess, right?
No, it's interesting because you have Brandon Staley saying, "Oh, I don't know, like we'll try to get him back on the field this week," and then Eckler's like, "Yeah, I'm playing," or vice versa. Like, I don't think he said that.
I don't
for this
think
week,
coaches
but
like that either.
yeah,
I don't know if they would like that.
kinda
No, I think that
undercuts
happened with the Packers. The Packers
media
players.
stuff.
Yeah, it literally just happened. I think yesterday with the Packers players, where they're all like, "We're getting our boys back," and they're like, and the coach is like, "No, I don't. Well, just
They're like,
we'll
stick
see."
to the script. We're
We'll
gonna have
see.
you back.
Quiet,
But we
yeah.
not
That's
telling
such a
you
dumb
yet.
game. I
It
feel
is.
like that's such a dumb game. I guess I don't know. I'm not in the weeds, so I don't know every little like adjustment that's being made. But I got to imagine if you're about to play a team and their best players might return, you probably are preparing to play for their best players. You know what I mean? I don't think
Right.
anybody needs to really scheme up anything for AJ Dillon if Aaron Jones isn't there. All right. If anything, they're just like he's a non-factor, and we'll get into that for dudes and duds, I think. But
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
very personalized attack at AJ.
It was, and I'm not mad about it.
I think we're expecting Austin Eckler back. He was limited on Wednesday. I believe he's going to be limited today. So he's going to play not at 100%, which happens. But they're going to have him maybe not catch the ball in space so much, but it's not Josh Kelly either. So obviously if Eckler's starting, you have him in your lineup. Saquon's a little more iffy for this week. I know they played Monday, so fantasy owners are waiting to see if he'll play. Just make an alternate plan. Like even if he's playing, he's not ready yet. He's going to be forced out there. So look to week 5 for Saquon. Looking Derek Carr. I don't know if anybody has him in fantasy, but he's not looking likely for this week. Might be Jameis against Tampa Bay. Maybe a little streamer action if you
Aren't we excited
like
about
danger.
that? Like at all games that Derek's gonna miss, give Jameis the Tampa Bay game.
I love it.
I like that. That's nice
Yeah.
of him. That's a team leader right there, right?
30-30.
Yeah, anytime we can get some more Jameis Winston on the field, I feel like that's a win. He's one of the fun backups. I feel like everybody just like loves to root for. Just go out there and
I love
sling
his
it.
training videos. You see his training videos in offseason?
Amazing.
They're
Yeah.
so convoluted and they don't look like he's really doing much.
Like, what
It's
position do you play again? I don't understand. What are you
his
doing out
face-
there?
His face is so focused on the drill, though. You have to think like it's a real drill. It's just-
Yeah, I don't know if he's just
his-
trolling us or not.
His
But
attitude is awesome, though. It's
he's
it's
funny.
infectious for sure.
No, but eventually it's going to be like a Rube Goldberg machine. Is that what it's called? Where you have the ball rolls and hits another ball and it starts a whole chain reaction. That's going to be his training videos.
Yeah.
Get into the final one. Patrick Mahomes ankle, same ankle as in the playoffs, but he's playing. He FP'd already. Not a big deal. He just might not be mobile outside the pocket, but he wasn't doing that too much to start. That doesn't hurt his fantasy value too much. Let's get into dudes and duds.
Dudes and duds.
Hey, it's Lupin.
No, it's not.
Sorry, who wants to go first this week? I feel like I did it last week. Just like on the list, I am
Jacob can
first,
go.
but I'm
Jacob
gonna
goes first.
take a back seat here.
All right. Shout out to dude Keenan Allen, who we've doubted earlier on this podcast. We said avoid him because of the hamstring troubles. We're eating crow here, whatever, egg on our face a lot. 20 targets, 18 catches, almost set the single game mark. I think he was 2 catches shy. 215 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. So Keenan Allen, absolute beast, absolute dude early in the season. 32 catches, 402 yards, and 2 touchdowns through 3 weeks. So don't know if that's sustainable. Lost Mike Williams,
Yeah.
but
Maybe it is more.
yeah,
right?
he's looking young.
Is it? I'm curious to see how that's going to play out because I do think Justin Herbert's going to keep slinging it. Kellen Moore in that offense is they're just going to keep moving the ball. At some point, though, without Williams, I mean, Palmer's pretty good. He's okay, but like, I don't think he's going to command as much attention. And is Quentin Johnston good at football yet? I don't think he is yet.
I don't know if he is yet, but the one thing is, though, this is like a Craig Reynolds thing. We were talking about Gibbs. He is the direct replacement to Williams. Williams was going to leave the team in 2 years, 3 years. That's what his contract was kind of saying. The ACL tear speeds up the process, but speeding up the process didn't help Quentin Johnston because it didn't look like he's even ready. But also, he's not a slot receiver, so I think he's just being played out of position maybe as well.
Yeah.
So the second he goes on that side where, Kellen Moore loves those vertical go, he might start to pop. but I don't think it's going to be immediate. We need to see a game first before we're like, oh, Quentin Johnston's the direct heir to Mike Williams, role. Like right now, I think the safer option is Josh Palmer. He did it last year. He did it more because he's probably more of a direct replacement to Keenan Allen. He runs those little small routes inside, gets the catches and stuff, but he just caught a touchdown right last week. He is a guy that can produce, or maybe week 1.
Yeah, I would say that their offense is slinging it. Like wide receiver usage wise, it's like they're definitely like top 5. They might be the number 1 actually. Now I'm looking at it. I haven't pulled it up because I'm very prepared for this podcast. But they're definitely one of the top 3 teams I would imagine in wide receiver usage. So I'm just trying to imagine how this is going to look. Obviously, teams are going to shift over to Keenan Allen because that's their guy. They're going to make the other 2 do the work. There was a moment when I read in, maybe I'm just reading into too much articles at this point. I'm on the bandwagon where I think it's too early for Quentin Johnston, but the fact that the opening is now up and there's some speak where they're like, well, we were going to bring him along slow, but now we don't really have a choice. There was a moment where I'm holding Smith and Jigba in one league, and I'm like, do I just offer that swap? Because now the opportunity is there for Quentin Johnston. I think Njigba is a better football player, but I'm scared that the opportunity might not be there for Njigba for a long time. Lockett and DK are still really, really good.
Yeah, you might be waiting until the second half.
When Montgomery went down, right? Gibbs actually had to run a little bit. He had 80 carries, right? 80 yards last week. They didn't use him much in the receiving game, but that's something like they probably didn't want to utilize him 17 carries like that, but they had to without Montgomery. He did look a little better. He had 4.7 yards per carry, but this is a situation, like you said, he needs to go right into the situation. And if he can't do it, because it's like this process has been sped up, then you might need to look through other options. That's something that they're going to have to figure out on the fly because they were not expecting this, kind of situation with Mike Williams.
Yeah, I'll be watching that. That'll be fun to watch to see how he gets. Now that he's going to definitely get more opportunity, but we'll see if he can actually utilize it.
Do something with it.
All it takes is like one good catch, right? I mean, just be the guy, score a touchdown, long one.
Look at Jaden Reed, your guy from the Packers. Jaden Reed has been catching all the touchdowns.
No, that dude gets open though. That dude gets open a lot.
He does. His separation ability. He did at Michigan State. It's elite. Yes.
All right, Taylor, who's your dude?
My dude is Kenneth Walker. I just want to make a point that during, part of my rankings for Fantasy Pros accuracy and stuff, not as high as I should have been on Walker. He had 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is his second straight game. 2 out of 3 of the games this year that he's had 2 touchdowns. He looks good. Zach Charbonnet, just talking about rookies. I think just in the process, what we do in fantasy, we always hype these guys up. And there's always going to be like a 1 or 2, like Sam Laporta, that are clearly like, that was a hit. That's the rookie that's good. But there's a lot like the Njigba we just talked about, and not Johnson as well. There's situations where we might think the rookies are going to pop all year and they don't. Like they're going to take a little bit. Dalton Kincaid has yet to kind of figure it out over in the Bills as well. So Walker is definitely not scared of Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet's not taking enough of his role to take away any fantasy value. He looks like the man. Seattle. Geno has definitely taken a step back. I think a lot of us kind of figured that. Even with that offense, he doesn't look as good as he did last year. But the run game seems effective, even with the O-line out. They had 3 offensive linemen out last week, and he still got almost 100 yards in those 2 touchdowns. So.
What was crazy is when every time I popped in on that game and looked, I knew Kenneth Walker was cooking because I have him on one of my teams, and I was seeing the stats go up. But every time I watched that game, I feel like Charbonnet was on the field. Like he was on there quite a bit. He's still getting a good amount of work, but I feel like it's really good if you're a Walker owner that was afraid of Charbonnet. He was in there quite a bit, and Walker's still doing this, so I think you're feeling okay. You're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that was the first game where you kind of saw Charbonnet a little bit because he had like 46 on 9 carries. Like he did a lot and a little.
Yeah.
So, but like you're still if Walker's still able to get 18 to 20 carries a game and he gets at least 1 touchdown, like they both ran for over 5 yards 5 yards per carry. That's gonna work, right? So if they can both do that, they're not gonna hurt each other. But there's gonna be more games that I think you're gonna see Walker the clear guy. Then that's more than I thought coming in.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You see, Justin.
No, go ahead. You're good.
You see early in training or like late in training camp, guys pick stuff up, or they're just you can't really tell if they're getting bubble wrapped or if they have a serious issue. Kenneth Gainwell groin, not an issue at all. I mean, people thought it was going to lead to more of a split early on with Charbonnet, and really didn't happen in the first 2 weeks. Now it's starting to happen. Go ahead, Justin.
All right, so I'm going to go to my dude. I don't have to talk about this a lot because this is probably a flash in the pan because their starters coming back, and I thought maybe there'd be a chance he wouldn't. Adam Thielen, 11 receptions. He's turning back the hands of time. 11
He's
receptions.
never done that before, though. Which this is the time.
Yeah, 14 targets, 11 receptions, 145 yards and a touchdown. Andy Dalton, they let him sling it. I think he threw it like 58 times. They were just letting him rip. And that's probably, that's going to be the most pass attempts. I think it's going to take Bryce Young a few weeks to pass 58 pass attempts. But
the whole year.
Yeah, maybe the whole year. So listen, I don't know. I think Adam Thielen is still, that wide receiver room is so weird. I feel like there are talented players there, but it's have
patchwork, right? They're all free agents.
If you could blend them all together, you'd have one pretty good wide receiver. I just don't.
What would he be? Like, what's his name?
I don't know. I think he'd have like 6 arms and 6 legs. He'd be
look
really weird out there. Yeah. But no, Adam Thielen right now, I think that's why they signed him. They gave him some money. Bryce Young's a young quarterback. You got to think he's still going to. I don't think he's going to catch 11 balls again from Bryce Young, but it's a pretty encouraging performance to see Adam Thielen actually be involved and move 145 yards on a football field at his age. Good for him. That sounds a lot of passive aggressive.
60. Is
I
he
know.
coming in the locker room with a walker?
Yes, he should be. I think
he took some shots in that game too. He had a couple catches where he took a big hit and he just shakes him off. I don't know if there's any wide receiver recently that I can think of that takes more shots and just gets up than Thielen.
He was a wide receiver I was targeting a lot because he was falling a lot because everybody didn't really know about that Panthers offense. But he was signed for the money to be like a veteran for that wide receiver room because Terrence Marshall, Mingo, they're all so young. Like, there's no more there. More was the veteran presence there. So DJ Shark's there too. Like you said, it's just a very patchwork. 2 free agents, a rookie, a second-year guy, and Hayden Hurst. Right?
Shark I think Hurst is done, man. There's not much going on. Again, I guess we'll have to see when Bryce Young comes back how that shifts.
Shark
again.
is back though. He had the hamstring to start the year. He looked good. That's
pretty decent.
But is Young getting it down there? Because Shark's a deep threat. You know what I mean? Like you said, Dalton was ripping it. So I don't know if Young can do that this year, but that's a game right there.
I think a lot. This is going to get a lot of the casuals in trouble. If you're listening to this podcast, I don't consider you a casual because you're actually taking the time to pay attention to some fantasy football advice. So you'll probably avoid this. But a lot of people are going to see Adam Thielen on their bench and be like, "Wait a minute, that was insane," and put him in their lineup this week, not knowing Bryce Young's coming back. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that again. It's not going to happen again. If Dalton's playing though, very encouraging. Throw this man in your lineup because if they're going to let Dalton sling it 50 plus times, I mean, any wide receiver could have a good day on that offense.
Right.
We're going to duds now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Calvin Ridley, 7 targets, 3 catches, 40 yards against the Texans. I mean, that whole game was like a dud for the Jaguars, but
it's a double dud because he had an advantage.
Yeah, really encouraging start for Ridley, and then he's been just dud the last 2 weeks. So hopefully he gets it back. We'll see London game against the Falcons, but not too encouraging for him. Why do the Jaguars
stink? What is going on over there? I don't know why they look so bad.
Trevor Lawrence looks like Kirk Cousins, kind of. And I thought he was better
Kirk Cousins.
Well, chill. Yeah, Kirk Cousins right now is kind of cooking, though.
They're 0-3.
Okay. Wins-wise, he's not cooking. He's not cooking wins.
Winning.
He's cooking
the
stats,
though. Look good. That's fine. Justin Jefferson has 150 plus every game. Great. But they're not winning, though, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, but he's in that. I thought he was above that like tier, like that Jimmy G, like that safe, like, you know, I guess, I don't know. I'm dissing Cousins, but there's like this safe tier of quarterbacks that I thought he was above.
Kirk Cousins in the Jimmy G tier?
Safe quarterback tier.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what the rest of that tier is. That's
Kirk Cousins,
that's a topic for
Derek Carr,
podcast.
Derek Carr, and Jimmy G. This is the safe quarterback tier.
I would rather have Kirk pretty. Yeah, just by a lot.
Much
out of
over all
those.
this. He's
not the leader of that tier.
There's a list of he's the
Kirk
top
is like the top 2 quarterback
game.
right now in fantasy. He's like, he's cooking. I don't know how long he can sustain it. We'll see. But the Vikings kind of stink too.
He's got the number 1 wide receiver for him. That's not going to change unless due to injury, right? So he's always. And then TJ Hawkinson took over Hunter Henry. I'm pretty sure he's the leading number 1 tight end in fantasy now behind Laporta, I believe, as well. So they have the top tight end, like top fantasy producers on that team. It's just Lawrence, talking about Lawrence, I thought Lawrence was better than him. I guess we'll say then. I thought he had a great year.
I thought he would too.
I thought Doug figured it out. He's a quarterback whisperer. I thought he had him off the Urban Meyer, whatever curse was going on in his brain. He figured it out. And now like they got Ridley. They have a good offense. The offensive line is a little bit iffy.
I was gonna say, is it a little bit Cam Robinson, left tackle, being out?
But I don't think he's like a Trent Williams. I don't think Cam Robinson was like, like he's gone. This whole line is falling apart. You know what I mean? It seems like it's a stronger line than that. So there seems like there's other stuff going on. Travis Etienne's been okay. He's had a couple of games, but not anything. I just think the numbers say they might figure it out. It's just like what you said, your dud. Ridley last 2 games is a big part of why they're not figuring it out.
It was just you see like Christian Kirk getting a ton of action, and then Zay Jones in week 1, and then you're like, what's up with Ridley? Why is he?
Maybe Zay Jones is the big deal. He's missed he has been bad. You know, wasn't great when he got hurt, and then he missed. Like maybe he's the reason.
The missing piece of that offense.
Yeah, I think
I was gonna say chosen one, but I feel like chosen is
the Robbie Chosen
right now. Yeah,
we don't talk about chosen. All right. No, the Jags are really weird right now. I don't think we haven't seen them at their peak yet. So I'm curious to see if they can get it right. But also, I don't want to say we're waiting on a team to get right last year all year in the Broncos, and that they did not. So I'm hoping 3 weeks isn't a trend.
There's even an analyst rating article. It was like Ben Solak or something, and he was like, "This is why the Broncos suck right now," and he's like, "It's not going to change." And he wrote that like week 4 or 5.
Yeah, so we're getting close.
Like everybody else were like, "I don't believe him. He's going to figure it out." No, there's certain signs even after week 4 or 5 that you're like, this ship is not turning around. Like we're going this way, you know.
Yeah, the Jags are only good in London. They got back-to-back London games, so
I bet Kyle Pitts wants to go to London really bad. That's where he scored.
Get that second touchdown.
He's excited. Oh my gosh.
I'll go with my dud.
Yeah.
Sam Howell. Just because I talked with you about this, Justin. You know you like to wait for quarterbacks. He was one I was not like too much against. You know, I would wait for him a little bit. He's not part of the safe quarterback group, but we talked about earlier.
He definitely ain't safe.
No, but he's one that he had a little bit of dual threat. He can run a little bit, but I thought that Washington team could take a little bit of a step, right? We thought Gibson would be decent, a little bit of Jared McKinnon role. McLaurin had that turf toe, so hopefully he can get better, but he hasn't been 100%. Dotson's been terrible. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, I really liked him. I wanted him everywhere. I never got him, and now I'm like, thank God I didn't get this guy.
Yeah, he just it's not doing well. Curtis Samuel looks like they're like Ben-Ami's loving utilizing him. He's doing all kinds of stuff, so that's good. But Sam Howell, 19 for 29, 170, 4 picks. I know you played a Bills team, but you can't be throwing 4 picks. That's like Nathan Peterman territory. That's not good stuff.
It's elite company.
That's not the tier you want to be on.
Not the company you want to be on. Yeah. So I had a lot of high hopes for him, and I did a couple drafts. I did wait on, quarterback. So, cause I knew that was the tier that he'd be in. So I was kind of disappointed. And this is maybe like 2 games in a row that the Commanders have kind of been like not too great on the offense then. So, not a great game. I know it's the Bills defense. I want to give them credit, but even a Bills defense, I'd say 2 picks. 4 picks is too many. You're forcing stuff. He did that stuff in North Carolina too, which is why he fell. So hopefully he needs to clean it up because you're a starter now. So
yeah, Ron Rivera's giving him a long leash, man. How does he even?
You have the Heineke leash. There's always the short Heineke leash, and that's not there anymore.
That's not there. Yeah, who are you gonna go to? Yeah, I guess you're right. But it is weird to see Ron Rivera just allow this go down, and then he's gonna roll him back out next week.
Usually pulls you if you're playing bad after 1 week, right? But no, this is something that. They like this kid though, right? And this is something they're gonna have to deal with for a little bit. They do have Jacoby Brissett though, so that is something they can always fall back to.
That's good, yeah.
Yes, Brissett's good, but they want it. They want to let this kid figure it out. So hopefully,
like the Jets want Wilson to figure it out, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they have a little bit more. I think they haven't got someone over Howell yet. Like Wilson knows he's not wanted. Like they got Aaron Rodgers. He's just now it's there. Like Sam Howell was given the job. Like Brissett was supposed to actually beat him out. I think they gave Howell a job because they want to see what he's about. So no, that's something that that's a big dud game. And I think you're right. There is a little bit of a leash for him. And the Commanders aren't trying to lose. They could be a wild card team. They have a great defense. They're not playing well this year though, but they have the pieces and they have all, like we talked about, the offensive pieces too, just not there yet.
I'm gonna let my dud just fall out here. It's AJ Dillon. This dude.
That sounded weird.
I'm gonna push this dud right out. It's AJ Dillon. 11 carries, 33 yards. He's had back-to-back weeks with no Aaron Jones, and this guy stinks at football. I love him. I think he's a nice guy. I see him online. He streams sometimes. He seems a genuine good dude. But man, your thighs can't keep you upright. Apparently, you think with thighs like that, you'd have some sort of center of balance. This man falls almost immediately. I don't know how he does it, but he had 11 carries for 33 yards. You picked him in the second round a couple years ago. They had to see something in him, and he's had early in his career. He had some decent games where you're like, oh, there's some flashes there where you're like, okay, he's the next guy in line after Aaron Jones. The opportunity should be happening now. You're in your like third or fourth year. The starter's going down. Aaron Jones isn't there, and you're putting up 11 carries for 33 yards. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He used to be the 1A, 1B to Aaron Jones, and it was
No.
like a great tag team duo, and now it's like he's the 2 like B.
Well, no, he might even be the C. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're bringing out like Patrick Taylor in, and there's a couple
Taylor
other
looks
people.
better sometimes. Sometimes
that's what I'm saying.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Keyshawn Nixon, I think, was in the backfield for a
Nixon
second.
also
Yeah,
is
he's a
good too,
defender.
yeah.
It's wild. So yeah, they're trying
There's a
different
little
stuff
theory
out.
though, like when you're running back in college and you're doing like 200 carries or so, like
Yeah.
like your Jonathan Taylor workload, sometimes it seems to get into your NFL career. Zach Moss did it a lot. He looks better finally in Colts.
Moss,
but
all
the
right.
First couple
Yeah.
Bills seasons, he looked terrible. He looked like he couldn't move at all. There's a lot of running backs. You got the Melvin Gordons and the Gurleys who couldn't last. They were loaded up at Georgia and Wisconsin. So there's situations that you can't say it's the reason, but like he was run like crazy at Boston College for 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
So no, there's a certain point that like his longest run is 36 yards. Like you just said, he had 33. Like he's not able to get any acceleration at all whatsoever. So
Yeah,
But
it's a very
something-
strange situation for somebody
and
of
you
that
wanted to
body
run the
style.
ball a lot this year too, right?
Yeah.
Like that was one of your game. Like you didn't want Jordan Love to be going crazy and throwing 58 times like the Pistol Red Rider,
I think-
whatever.
Yeah,
Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna shift to that. I feel like we're gonna be chucking quite a bit, and it's gonna be to running backs. But I don't know if it's gonna be AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones is gonna have a big year.
I don't know
Yeah,
about Dillon.
Jones will have a big year in the receiving game. Dillon, I don't know, man. He's probably honestly droppable in a lot of formats in fantasy football. So I'd stop holding out hope for that.
Well, if you're looking for an injury replacement for AJ Dillon, let's get some leftovers.
The leftovers.
Top of the list. Top of the list right here. I would take this guy over AJ Dillon right now on my roster pretty easily, and that's just because A, he could be a pretty good handcuff, and B, he's actually seeing the field. Like the Cowboys are using their running backs quite a bit. And we're talking about Rico Dowdle, 8% owned in.
How do you say his name?
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
Wait, how do you say it?
I say Dinwiddie in my head,
Oh,
even though it's the wrong sport.
that's not
I
even
get it.
remotely close. But yeah,
Got
I
a
was
D,
like,
don't
wait.
you?
I say Rico Dinwiddie.
Is it whenever you're saying a name that's not frequently said, like this isn't a household name yet?
Not at all.
It could potentially be.
Could
Who
be.
knows?
That's why
When you're saying it for like the first time out in public like that, you scared me for a moment. Your face made me think I'm an idiot.
no.
I was like, wait,
Don't
what did
ever
I do
think
here?
that. I don't say names right in any way. Jacob knows this.
No,
And also, it's like the person, like if I met you and your name is Charles, and then like 2 years later, you're like, I'm John now. You're never going to be John to me. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Right?
he registered Dinwiddie in his head, so he hears
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle, and he's like, "You're talking about Dinwiddie, right?"
Wait, but you can call chosen though. You're cool with that one.
You're
What's up
talking
with
about
that?
Rico, right? You're talking about Rico. I
Hey,
know
Rico. Yeah, we're talking about Rico. No, Rico, 8% owned in sleeper leagues. He's getting decent amount of work. Obviously, the Cowboys, you'd expect them to be up in a game, but I think in this game he actually got more work because they were down to the
Down,
Cardinals,
yeah.
which is fascinating. A lot of people didn't see that coming. The Cardinals, kind of spicy. Cardinals are fighting, man. I don't know
Oh,
how
Josh
they're doing
Jacobs
it.
got
Fighting
something.
is what you should say. That's it.
Huh?
They're in every game and they're fighting, but
They're
like,
trying, which is what you would not expect from that type of football team. And also the media that covered their coach talking to their players at the beginning of the year, you couldn't have seen.
they were doing a different narrative, and he's
Couldn't
Yeah.
fade him harder. Yeah,
It was pretty
it
bad,
wasn't
but
nice. Yeah.
they're playing hard and they're trying to win, which is cool. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, that doesn't.
He's a defensive coach too. So the one thing that's not going to be bad is their defense, probably. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing for them.
So anyway, we're not talking about the Cardinals though. We're talking about Rico Dowdle. And I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this, but yeah, I would rather have him than AJ Dillon, and I think he's a decent hold on like the end of a bench if he's left over in your fantasy leagues.
I just saw something that like Tony Pollard's on pace for like 500 touches or something like that. Like it's a
Jeez.
ridiculous amount of
Too
touches
many
that
for
he's
him.
never
He's
done.
gonna get
So
hurt soon.
yeah, I mean you don't want to bet on that, but it's like have the backup. I don't think it's Deuce Vaughn, a little undersized, more of a pass catcher.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
the Cowboys had like so many red zone touchdowns, like 10 plus from Elliott last year. They're missing that this year. They don't have someone that just can punch it in. Rico is someone
Yeah,
that
just go with Uncle Rico. That's good.
is someone that can probably do that. Because I don't, like you said, I don't see Vaughn being able to punch it in from close. Pollard can get you down the field, but he's not the greatest goal line back too as well. So this is something that Rico can find himself, a good opportunity.
Admittedly, I do want to see more Deuce Vaughn. I do want to see more.
We
Deuce
all
Vaughn.
do.
I want to see it. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
He has the body
You gotta
type
look
of running
closely.
back
He's like-
that doesn't exist.
He's in there, but you just can't see him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I think he got like 3 carries, but the camera didn't catch it. No, I do want to see a little more of him. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna get a lot of that. Paul, you said Pollard's getting a lot of work. Dowdle actually is good at football, but I do want to see some Deuce. Okay, I will maybe down the line, like you said, if something does happen to Pollard, somebody's got to throw in, and I don't know if they just signed Deuce Vaughn as like a gimmick or not, but I would think that they would actually use him, right? It's an NFL football player.
No, Pollard misses. It might be a two-headed monster. You got Deuce
it
and
would be a
Rico.
monster. Hell yeah, that'd be amazing. What else we got here on this list? I don't want to talk about this list anymore. The farther we go,
I don't.
His
We're
dad is
not to buys
Dad
yet,
is
but
a scout, by the way, guys. Deuce Vaughn's dad is a former NFL scout.
oh wow,
It really is about who you know. No, I'm kidding. No, Deuce Vaughn
Your
actually
dad's
looked
a
really
scout.
good in preseason. No, I'm not going to say he got this job because
It was
his dad's a
daddy.
scout.
Yeah,
He
that's
actually
not
looked good at
yeah.
football.
Yeah.
we're not to buys yet. Excuse me, we're not to buys yet. But Latavius Murray somehow up on the fantasy scoring charts.
He's
vulturing
fallen into the end
touchdowns.
zone, man. He really is.
He's
I'm
he's
trying to
Damon
remember
Harris,
a running back
Damon
who's
Harris
vultured
used to be.
touchdowns like across decades. It feels like.
This man is eternal, right? He's
He's
like, I'm
eternal.
coming for my
He was
touchdowns. All
good
right.
on the Raiders. People forget. I loved him
He
on the
was
Raiders.
real good.
He was bad. It was a bad Raiders team, but he would have like almost 1,000, 9 touchdowns. He finds the end zone. Yeah. Damian Harris is the one that I think is an eye popper. That's what I thought was going to be. How is
Right.
Latavius Murray like basically a practice squad
Stealing
running
snaps
back?
from Damon
Yeah.
Harris.
Harris, I wasn't expecting him to like be 20 carries, 10 carries, but like I was expecting to be like a poor man's Jamal Williams from last year, like at least like 8 touchdowns, just rushing the ball on that good Bills offense. But
And then it's Murray. And then
Murray
it's just
has like 2 to 3
Yeah.
already this year. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say James Cook, looking at his stats and realizing that he's never going to sniff the ball in the red zone, which is really depressing.
I told you guys that.
If
Yeah.
this dude could get some red zone work, we're talking like top 10, top 5. Like this
he's
dude's
doing everything.
he would be
but that,
cooking. Yeah.
He can't score because
It's crazy.
he's only like 10 to 15 pounds bigger than what's his name? Deuce Vaughn. Like
Yeah.
he's not like these are small backs. These are people that like it takes a while to get in the end zone. Like Damian, that's why you get the secondary back that can score. So James
Yeah.
Cook is literally catching and running the ball everywhere, just not in the end zone.
Yeah, he looks good. Fantasy-wise is good, but it is kind of depressing to know that he's going to have to really earn a touchdown from far away to get one.
Someone that earns touchdowns I have on this list, Donald Parham, 6 foot 100, absolute animal from the XFL. Herbert is finding him. He doesn't catch anything but one catch for the game, maybe 2.
Yeah, like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 yards
The
and a
last one,
touchdown.
he threw it into his side of his like body, and he had to pull it out of his stomach because Herbert just fired it in there. Like he's a big body. He just plucks the ball out. You can't cover him. There's nobody in the NFL that can cover him. So I mean, he's a good player. He's a good little stash if you just want to get like 8 points from a tight end. Maybe 10.
I think everybody would love to have 8
I would
points
die
from
for
tight
that.
end. Are you
I would
kidding
die
me?
for that right now.
Henry, the
Yeah.
4th ranked tight end in fantasy. That means things are off. Things are wrong. So,
You're very touchdown reliant with this
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
But
yes.
why not take that bet in an offense that's really, really good? They're going to be down there. He's probably going to get a lot of chances, even if
Mike
it's
Williams
even if
was
it's,
a red zone threat as
Right.
well. This is another big body. Yeah.
Opens
so
it up.
if you're sick of trying to get Zach Ertz open in a few yards to try to get some fantasy points, maybe the move is just start betting on
He
touchdowns.
can't even get his own self open.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe the move is just pick up Parham and try to get some touchdowns from there because that
Yeah, 'cause
offense is
it's
going to
not-
have a lot of
It's
them.
not Gerald Everett in the end zone either.
From
Dude,
a
every
betting
time-
standpoint, he's awesome to bet anytime touchdown. It's always a crazy number, and you're just waiting for that one play, so you're sweaty
Yeah.
the entire game. You know?
Gross. It's a fun ride for sure.
Yeah.
On Gerald Everett, I will say every time this man catches the ball, he's been pretty feisty. He looks angry.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why he looks so angry, but every time I see
He
somebody
ain't
on the
scoring.
Chargers
Someone's
just shoving
stealing.
and punching people with the ball, I'm like, it's old man Everett out there just
He knows
slinging.
Parham's coming for his job.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. He's like, I wish I could get a touchdown, which is probably not how he talks, but I just,
Probably
I
how
had,
He's an
I
old
had to, I
lobster.
did. I wish I could get that touchdown.
Old man
one
Everett
day.
of 29. Yeah.
Yeah, he's is he 29?
Yes, he
This
is.
man's still in his 20s.
It's an
Gosh.
old 29 though.
Why does it
old
feel like
20s.
he's been around for so long? That's crazy.
he
He
has.
has. He was on the Rams when he was like 19, wasn't he? He
Oh,
was young.
probably. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
he was definitely on like the old Jersey Ram team, right? The old
He was beating out. He beat out Higbee. He was above Higbee for a while. Remember? It was
Yeah.
back in the days.
Anyway, good times.
You're like,
Good
ah.
times.
Uh,
All right,
let's-
Justin,
yo,
give us
what's
your
up?
last one. The
You wanna-
Steeler on this list.
Okay, I threw him on here at the last second. 8% owned in sleeper. Calvin Austin the Third Esquire. I don't think that's how its actual name.
It's
but,
close, though.
It's
It's close.
Calvin Austin the Third. Listen, he's not going to get. He actually, I will say, he's been on the field quite a bit. Deontay Johnson's out. He's been out, I think, through week 5. I think he might be coming back week 6. I don't know when exactly he comes back, but he's going to be out for a few more weeks. Calvin Austin's as good a dart throw as you could get. It's a bad offense, though. But he's very fast, very small. But he's on the field for 76% of the snaps in week 2, 73 in week 3, getting a decent amount of targets, about 5 targets a game. You only need one of them to kind of snap and catch
He's
a
like
touchdown.
Parnham, right? He's a deep threat Parnham, right? You
Yeah.
just need one deep ball.
One
That's it.
ball. He can do it.
It doesn't
It's
need
possible.
a touchdown. You get like one 50-yard catch. That's 6 points from a waiver wire. You're good.
Yeah,
Like,
and you got to think with
fine.
this offense, they kind of stink, right? So they're probably going to be throwing it quite a bit. Maybe he'll get a manufactured touch or two, and he could take it to the house like he did last week, 72 yards, 2 catches, and a touchdown.
that's the Calvin Austin
That's
day
good.
right there.
Don't look at the receptions and just be like,
Yeah.
this dude
That
had
doesn't
72 and a
matter.
touch.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Don't matter that it's on one
Yeah.
play
Listen.
and two plays. Don't matter about
When
that.
we're talking leftovers, all right, there's going to
Oh,
be
you're-
something
you're
wrong
deep
with
down,
it.
yeah.
All right, there's
Yes,
going to be a
yes.
little thing wrong with it, but you got to overlook that. You scrape it off the side of the plate, and then you eat the leftover. This
Hey,
is
it worked
it.
for Josh Reynolds. It worked for Khalil
Yes.
Shakir last year. Like, we remember all the ones that hit. We forget the
We
ones
do.
that don't.
I'm just saying, if you're struggling right now, and you need to fill like maybe you're in a league that has 6 flexes and defensive players, and you're
Yeah.
struggling, Calvin Austin might be the guy you can throw in one of those
We
flex
also
spots.
talked about Puka Nakau week 1 as well.
Nakau? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
All of a sudden, it's Nakua. It was Nakau,
Yeah.
and it's Nakua,
Just
and then it's
yeah.
it's
I
thought it
not
was
A-Chain,
Nakua.
it's A-Chan.
It's
Okay, yeah.
Achan,
We
Nakua,
completely left them
Nakau.
off our dudes, by the way. Mostert and
We can't.
A-Chain are
We can't.
the dudes
It
of the
was-
week. They're too
They were
obvious.
too. It
Yeah.
was too obvious. Way too good. You can't. The Miami Dolphins.
They were
They'll-
the dude of the week.
The whole team.
Yeah.
Disgustingly
Whole
good.
team,
Yeah, that's scary. That team is ridiculously scary. I thought it was
Broncos had
funny.
24 missed tackles that day. Is that an
Oh.
injury issue? That's a lot.
It's
I
like
thought it was-
eyesight, like they're diving in the wrong direction.
I was watching that game and A-Chain? Achane?
A-Chan.
A-Chan.
Achane.
A-Chan.
It didn't. He would make one shift move, and there was, like you said, 9 people would dive after him. They were all missing
That's
completely.
ridiculous. Yeah, I do think, and maybe we can talk about that. I don't know. We will actually. Let's just get in the next segment because there's
All
some
right.
other stuff I want to talk about.
It's some shootouts and droughts.
Not gonna loop either. You're welcome.
No loops. Let's go. I was waiting for it. That was good.
He's got it.
Shootout, obvious, right? Pretty obvious, especially after last week. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills this week, 53.5. Is that real?
That's
What
the
if that
highest
goes
of the week
under?
by 5
They
points.
scored too much last week. It's like baseball. If you had like a doubleheader and you scored like 11 the first game, Jacob, you know this. You're
Yeah.
scoring maybe 0 the next game.
Hmm.
It's I don't know. Like
Well, they might walk in expecting to face like a defense like the Broncos, and it's the Bills. So
It's true.
maybe they're
they just had
overconfident. I
4
don't know.
picks last week, right? I know it was Wolfman Sam Howell, but
Yeah.
they did have 4 picks. This is a good Bills defense. They're not going to have 24 missed tackles. They have people on that end that can make plays. So you did mention Jordan Poyer. He should play through his issue, or is that might be a concern?
I don't know. He's 2 straight DMPs. It's the
Yeah.
same knee as his meniscus, so that's going to be a big one to watch.
That leads
Along with
towards
Mike
the
Hyde
open
and the
little bit.
hamstring. So
Yeah.
this speedy offense you don't want to face as a safety at all, and then especially if you're not healthy. So that's
Why-
gonna be a big one.
What if
Why
he's
is
taking the day off? That'd be smart. Like, you're gonna get burnt probably by Tyreek
it
Hill.
looks like
Might as well
Waddle's
just,
back
like,
too,
my
right?
knee-
Waddle,
I had
Yeah.
a meniscus tear in this knee. I'm gonna sit. Okay, let me sit.
it's a fascinating way to build your team, and this is what I do in Madden is make every one of your players 99 speed. That's what they did. They literally were
Really?
like, let's just
They
get every
drafted track
fast guy.
stars. You draft
Dude,
former track stars.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's amazing. I love it. One thing I wanted to say is somebody posted. I'm friends with a Dolphins fan, and he posted a GIF of.
It's a GIF.
I call it a GIF.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
start.
Either way, we can have that conversation later. Why did I just forget the coach's name?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels. Okay, yeah. So they posted a GIF of him just kind of sitting there with his clipboard. It's the least intimidating looking guy in the entire league.
It was the Broncos ball boy. Imagine
Yeah,
getting
I saw
beat
that.
by the ball boy.
Yeah, I saw that. And what I'm saying is, when you look at this guy, you're like, come on. But what's funny is now when teams are game planning and they see this guy across the field, he is the most intimidating coach in the league right now. From just like you're about to get your
Have you
doors
seen
blown
Mike
off.
Tomlin? Have you seen Mike Tomlin speak?
I'm talking about what he can create on the
talking
field
about
with
facing
what
them
he
on the
has
field.
on the field. I'm talking about team.
No
I'm
one's
not talking
taking
about
Mike
fight.
Tomlin in a one-on-one fight.
No, I'm not.
taking
Him
him
or Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's
Alleyway,
crazy
dark
too.
Alleyway. Dan Campbell, Mike
Mike
Tomlin.
Vrabel. No.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
thank
there's
you.
some guys
Obvious,
out there.
yeah.
I'm talking about like
Yeah.
just you're going into play against. That's the most intimidating guy. That he just put up 70 points with the team. I'm not gonna say he put him up, but he definitely
We
schemed
mentioned
up
too
70.
on the Pro Football Doc podcast. They have the next gen stats. They have the 6 fastest times all year, and half of the times are on grass. So like they're going to be even faster on turf.
Yeah,
Like that's
gonna
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is going to be a fun game to watch. I'm hoping. I can't imagine if they come out and dud this one. I'm going to be so sad. It just on paper you're like they're going to be. This is going to be a shootout. They're going to be slinging it all game.
I'm so
it's
glad
definitely,
we get Chiefs Jets at night instead of this game. That's a great scheduling decision.
Glad we
there.
get the Chiefs. Period.
Yeah. We get. Oh no, you know why though, right? But I don't want to even get into it. I don't even want to touch it because if I have to hear another pun, I swear to God.
See, people complain about hearing it, but then they lead themselves into saying it.
No,
It's
I'm
like
not
the
going to
first
say
topic
it.
right away.
I'm not saying it. I'm not going to say it. I won't even touch it again. But I'm just saying I'm not ready to hear. Is it Collinsworth with that?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He's going to say something
think?
awesome. He's going to say
Could you
something so it's going to be a little wrong, but like
No, it's
just
going to be
enough.
so bad. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for Collinsworth to be involved in that. But anyway, yeah, after this game Sunday night, I really feel like the NFL is going to do everything they can to get the Jets out of primetime. They have to.
They have
for the rest
4
of the
more.
game.
I think they have 4 or 3 more. One of the 2.
Stop it. End this, please. Flex it. You have to get. They need to get to work now. If they're going to sit on their hands like Robert Saleh is with their quarterback change.
Yeah, we do.
No, the NFL needs to get to work, dude.
Trevor Siemian is still having your hands. Yeah, that's not a help. That didn't help the situation.
I would rather. I mean, obviously,
Anything's better than nothing.
Anything's better than just letting him have free reign. You can't have Zach Wilson hold your franchise hostage. There's gonna be riots in the locker room.
There are riots already now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Dude, I could not. You can't throw the season away in week 2. I know that Rodgers got hurt, but there's an easy fix. It's literally place any other quarterback behind center.
Easy fix. Number 1, not an easy fix. Number 2, the season wasn't done week 2. It was done week 1, 5th play of the game. All right.
I said week 2 because they won. They won the first game somehow.
Yeah, I would say tank for Caleb, but they already got their win.
We're gonna do it for Aaron. It was a touchdown to win. Alpha was undrafted. It was so musical BS. It
was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was nice. It was comfort for the Jets fan. The Jets fans to be like, at least we're not going
KFC. It was a KFC win. It wasn't like a good natural, Dave's bread 3 grain.
Yeah, we're not going defeated this season though. We got one, and they can be happy with that one win. But no, I have too many Jets fans friends, and they are like clinically depressed.
Dave's Killer Bread, by the way. We would like an ad.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I don't know how we had to get some Jets. We had to get some Jets fighting in there.
Absolutely
gross.
Taylor's Raiders against the Chargers, 48.5. Has the number been adjusted to show Jimmy G's probably not playing?
This is what my theory is. I'm a Raider fan, and I was talking to Doc about this. What's the difference between Jimmy G and Brian Hoyer? This is a Brian Hoyer.
A little bit more Patriots experience.
Yeah,
with
he has
Hoyer.
this. It's the same offense. It's the same offense he's been in like 100 years now. So like this is a situation that I think it's going to be a safe game. I actually would lead towards Josh Jacobs going crazy. Like he probably should get 50 rush attempts, but I don't see Hoyer making a lot of bad mistakes. I don't think he's going to force the ball down the field. You have Devontae Adams. So like look what Devontae Adams did with Jimmy G. Like just throw it to him, be safe. You know, you're still going to lose probably, but
Don't
the
throw any
Chargers
hospital balls.
yeah, and then Chargers, it might be a little bit high total because like I think they're assuming Johnson just plugging in. Like without Williams, that does hurt their offense a lot. You know, so that's a big loss. So and then Ekeler, if he even if he does play, is he going to be 100%? And if he doesn't play, Josh Kelly. So like that, I don't know. That seems like a little bit higher number than it should be with so many question marks on the star players.
This is fascinating. I have not spent a lot of time on the Raiders depth chart page, so excuse me. I thought I didn't even know Brian
Neither
Hoyer
did
was
they.
starting. I thought there was some hype around Aiden O'Connell. I thought they
There
might
is
just
some hype
throw him
on
out
Aiden
there.
O'Connell, but we talked about earlier. Rookies get all this hype in the offseason.
Throw him out.
Then, yeah, not now.
Not now.
No,
So,
but
yeah,
I would love to see
Let
Aiden
him face
O'Connell.
Joey Bosa first week. Yeah, throw him
Yeah,
out there.
this is it. Get in there,
Hey.
kid. Yeah, why not?
No, let Hoyer figure it out. This is a game that we were trending to lose anyways. It's not one of the 7 games we were supposed to win this year. 6.5 win total. It's not supposed to be high, high hopes. But I think the over is a little. I think the number is a little high. I don't know if it's going to be much of a shootout as it says.
I think Derwin James has a hamstring, so that might be one to watch.
Yeah, but no one's taking advantage of that, Jacob.
Right.
Okay.
Brian Hoyer deep ball all day. Come on. Minnesota Carolina is the next one, 46.5. The most intriguing 0-3 matchup of the week.
It really is, though. It actually is a very intriguing matchup.
Bryce Young, can he come back and look good?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 1 million yards against Carolina's no secondary.
We're going to see a steep drop off in Panthers pass attempts for sure. I want to watch Miles Sanders against the Vikings defense. Miles Sanders is getting so many opportunities. If he he did fall in the end zone last game. He had an okay game. Like if you had Miles
forgot
Sanders,
about him though. They didn't because they threw the ball 900 times. They forgot to run.
Yeah.
But like he's a good player. They spent a lot of money on him all season. I like.
So I'm curious, and he's getting a decent amount of targets too.
Yes,
and with Bryce Young, that's still going to stay the same. Like I was surprised to see Dalton dump it to him as many times as he did. Although he did drop a few, like just easy ones, which was kind of depressing to watch. This could be a big Miles Sanders game, even if they're losing, which I do expect them to lose. In the past game, I feel like Miles Sanders is going to get some balls, and Minnesota's defense isn't exactly elite.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Did you see Didn't Justin Jefferson just he tweeted that their defense?
Oh, that's fake.
Sucks? Oh,
Fake stuff way too easy.
Why are people doing that stuff? I hate that.
I know, it's way too easy.
Suck though. Their defense does suck though. But
yeah. Why don't more players call out their
I don't
on
have
their
time
team?
to research that whether it's a fake post or not. Like
I need Sauce Gardner to come out and be like, "Yo, this offense though is booty cheeks."
No,
he
looks like someone that could say he's posting videos about Mac Jones grabbing his balls. Like he's someone that like he does it. He's gonna like get to the point. I think he's not.
He's got a burner. He's got a burner.
No, he used his own account. He's the one.
No,
he doesn't need a burner.
Doesn't care
he's
about
burning it on his own account.
Last game, I'm so excited. Denver at Chicago, 46. The over/under's at 46.
It couldn't be under enough,
bro. Okay, listen.
Both defenses are atrocious. Both offenses are atrocious. Like who wins?
Wait a minute. That's where you're wrong, though.
No one plays. It's 0-0 overtime game. 0-0 tie.
I'm taking Denver, and I'm taking them hard in this game. All right.
We're taking Denver too at 6-4.
Yeah.
We like them too. The numbers aren't as strong, but Fields, you can't tell me he didn't have a concussion. I know he's not like on the report, and they're not doing the protocol like they should, but he
got rocked.
I don't know what to say about that. They're lying, I guess. That offense sucks. Justin Fields, like I hope he figures it out, but like blaming the coaching and stuff is not a good look. There's a lot of other stuff he needs to do. The offensive line just lost their left tackle a couple weeks ago too, so like he doesn't have a great line in front of him. Moore hasn't really had the game yet. That's like, all those like big quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts got AJ Brown. Diggs went to Allen. Like you're not getting the same effect with Moore Fields right now.
I don't know if I said I'm not a football guy, and I don't know how this is. I think in the locker room.
Why are you on this podcast then?
No, I'm not. I'm not like a coach. I'm just saying, trying to be like a fly on
He's
the
on
wall.
The X's and O's. He's more on vibes.
I'm trying to be a flyer on the wall in the Broncos locker room.
Yes.
You got to imagine the contrast of coming off of the game where you just got absolutely obliterated.
Right.
The Dolphins like they literally showed mercy by
They
not
almost scored the
taking
most points ever
Yeah.
in a game.
Yeah.
They
Like,
could
you
have
know,
easily,
Yeah.
and they didn't. But you're
didn't.
getting absolutely destroyed for an entire week. They're going to come back. I don't know how, if I was on that defense, I would be like, dude, I'm coming back and I'm going to like murder
Patrick
somebody.
Surtain is
Yeah.
on that defense. He should
Yeah.
he doesn't like what happened.
What better way to bounce back than have just an absolutely dog water atrocious offense just sitting there coming out.
I
You know
know
what I mean?
people don't like Sean Payton, but like Sean Payton, I feel like is like if we had a young coach like Gannon, I don't think he would care about this loss. He'd be like, all right, Caleb Williams is even closer, you know. But
Yeah.
but like this is a different. I think, like you said, they actually care.
He's lighting a fire under him this week. Yeah.
Payton is pretty invested in this. Like he came out of retirement. He could have been doing those fake bong rips that people were showing in the videos. It wasn't him, by the way. But he just like he's in this for like this is the team he wants. He got all the people he wanted. He brought his people in, like the Walmart investors. You know, the people that own the team.
Yeah,
They're all in on him, right? So Peyton, like that loss was horrible. And like you said, they're not a team that like they're not a team that should be losing like this. Like if you saw a team that like it has a different expectations, you'd be like, all right, 70's a lot, but like they're probably going to lose 40-0. You know what I mean? But now it's like this is a team that like it has some expectations. Division is hard, but they could be 9-8, 8-9. They're not a horrible team. But
imagine if they gave Marvin Mims more than 15 snaps every week.
Marvin Mims looks really good at football.
He does everything on 15 snaps.
Coach. Peyton hates using young players, and it's annoying. But like Marvin Mims, if you have no Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler has the heart issue. He's nowhere near coming back.
Wait, chill. Lil Jordan Humphrey is a baller. Okay. Wait, you got to get him on the
Peyton
field.
knows. Peyton brought him over. He had him. He was balling with him. Yeah, he loves him. Yeah, no, definitely. He is a baller. But no, Marvin Mims is a game changer. He was at Oklahoma. Like his speed is crazy. Like Wilson looks like he has a better arm, and he's throwing the ball deeper than he did with Hackett.
He looks revived a little bit.
Yeah, I will say that absolute beatdown that they just took, I think beat everybody, everyone who's watching football back into the sense thinking that this is last year's Broncos team. It's not. Their offense is pretty okay. It just looked really bad. The perception is bad. I do think the bounce back is coming next week, and it's going to be ugly. The Bears, just poverty franchise. I don't know what's going on with that team. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I don't know what the heck is going on.
Does DJ Moore wish he was back in Carolina? Like, is that
crazy? You have to, right? I mean, you got to. I mean, he got a lot of money, right? But still, I don't know.
Yeah, opportunity wise.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd rather be with. He's watching Andy Dalton sling it last week and been like, man,
oh man,
I could have got 58 pass attempts from Fields. None of them would have been remotely close. To him.
But he would have had a Thielen game though, and it would have been all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to be a gross one. But I do think Broncos come out on that one. I'm pretty confident.
I want to finish out with it. Justin trade corner. Justin is always looking to trade in every league he's in. It's fantastic. So I want your trade advice, Justin.
Okay.
I'm 0-3 in my home league.
Ooh, embarrassing.
Jamar Chase, Ramondre Stevenson, James Conner. Thank you, Taylor, as running backs. Brandon Ayuk's my 2. I have Jalen Hurts.
James Conner is good.
I have Jalen Hurts, and I'm debating dangling him to see what I get and replace him with CJ Stroud, because CJ Stroud is just a lock every week.
You know what? What's funny that you say that. I for first time ever in my league, I actually spent a 3rd round pick on a quarterback. I have Josh Allen. He's pretty good. But I put in a waiver claim for CJ Stroud that was like, how can I leverage this to my advantage? Because I know there's somebody out there with Fields. I know there's some people out there with some like Trevor Lawrence. I could be like, you want a good quarterback? And then thing is, I didn't get Fields. We
good right away too. It's crazy.
I didn't wind up getting Stroud. I didn't get Stroud. So I don't have that leverage anymore. But it's an idea that I had. I don't hate it. The Texans are going to be slinging it quite a bit. Their offensive line isn't it? Aren't they pretty hurt right now? They're only going to get healthier.
It's as hurt as it's possibly going to be. Yeah,
they're only going to get healthier, and he looks this good now with that. I think that Stroud's pretty solid. I'm okay with that. So if you want to leverage that, I think that's a fine thing to do.
It's my first year with Jalen Hurts too, and it's like I know the tush push touchdowns, whatever you want to call it, is like the appeal, but like, am I relying on that every week? It feels gross.
He gets it every week, though.
He does get it every week.
Listen, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's
what
a
are you
good
talking
quarterback.
about? What are you mad about? Oh, I'm mad I'm getting a 6 points extra for my quarterback. What are you talking about?
All I'm saying is, without those 6 points, he's a mediocre quarterback. It's like 16
Ooh.
points every week
Ooh.
in fantasy. I mean, he has been for the first 3 weeks.
That's
Yeah.
why
It's
you
also
drafted
desperation
him for
mode
his
'cause I'm
rushing
0-3.
ability. You didn't draft
No.
him for his passing ability.
Try to get. I would check around and see what people are offering. I think that's a good idea for sure. I think as long as you have that fail-safe backup that you're like comfortable starting, definitely. I mean, like I feel like if you were ever going to do it at a position, quarterback's the way to do it. I mean, if you feel like you have something that can come in and give almost the same, remotely close to that, and you actually get a good player out of it that can start in a hole that you have somewhere else. I think that's a good move for sure. And I know
Yeah, I
we
need some
talked about
depth.
it last week. Garrett Wilson was on my fantasy football team. I was week 1 in my home league was very depressing. I lost J.K. Dobbins, and I didn't have Aaron Rodgers, but I had Garrett Wilson, and that completely nerfed his value. But I did actually. I know we discussed a few things. I was in on Nico Collins quite a bit. I did actually wind up getting Nico Collins, but it wasn't in a trade with Garrett Wilson. No, I did trade Garrett Wilson though this week. I did trade
I
him.
would bench
Bury the
Garrett
lead.
Wilson
What'd you
until
trade him for?
further notice.
So
Yeah,
here's what I did, and a lot of people might be curious because there's a lot of people out there with Garrett Wilson and wondering if you traded or not. I traded him for Christian Watson and Jalen Warren. I was like, okay, it's a 14-team league.
Uh-huh.
Depth could be fine. I feel like Jalen Warren has the a path to opportunity. A path to opportunity that could be pretty good. Christian Watson is returning this week, albeit I don't know if I probably 14-team league. I'm probably still going to start him.
You have
I
to
probably
start him if you
shouldn't,
just
but I
got
probably
him.
will.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty okay. It sucks because the opportunity was there for Garrett Wilson to be wide receiver 1 this year overall, and that is since gone, and his value is shot. I traded it to a Jets fan, so
Know your opponent.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to regret it or not. When I saw the Simeon news, I was like, it's probably going to get a little better, but is it going to be worth it? When is it going to happen?
Why do you think that?
I don't know.
Why would you ever in your mind think Simeon is going to be better than Wilson? It's the same offensive line. It's the same
I don't
offensive
even
line.
mind as long as I just want my quarterback to face the receivers. When he's turning around, that's an issue for me. All right, look at the wide receivers. Yeah. So I think Simeon might be able to look down the field a little. But anyway, I'm off that. So now you guys know I'm off that, and that's what I got for it. So if anybody out there
there's people that are benching Wilson for Tank Dell this week. That's probably the right decision.
Tank Dell looks really good. Yeah, Tank Dell's fun. Yeah, I think that's a move. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's a fun little trade segment, and maybe next week we'll have some more.
Yeah, send in your trade advice. Justin
I'm always
has an
going to hate
opinion
your
on
trades,
every
by the way.
player.
I hate the way you think about your trades because it's like it's probably so correct, but in the moment I hate it. You know?
Yeah, it's fun. That's the best thing about trades is you never know. Like you shouldn't feel like you're outright swindling somebody because that's gross.
But we call you the swindler.
I'm not trying to swindle. I am though. I'm not making trades to lose them though. So
no,
you got to think like I'm trying to think.
You have to get some gratification out of it, right?
So if Najee Harris continues to stink, I feel like Jalen Warren is just going to get more and more. He's almost flexible now in a deeper league.
He's getting almost 100 yards total receiving and rushing. Yeah, he's doing
so I'm okay with getting that and having a wide receiver to still take that place. I think that's a good trade. So if you can find a way to get something similar to that, I hope I've helped you in any way. Good luck out there.
No, Justin's not the swindler. He's the kick tires guy.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
What do you want for this guy? Just checking.
Yeah.
He's like the guy that's buying these bad businesses and swapping them up.
He's like snapping up all the junk cars
into
and trying to
Walmarts
fix
and
them up.
stuff.
Yeah. That's good. No, I'd rather have that than the swindler. All right. I'm out here just trying to make a quick. trying to make a quick buck, but I'm not trying to screw you over.
You're not a snake oil salesman, right?
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah, you're not lying.
All right.
He's just an optimistic mechanic.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. That's it.
I can fix that.
I can fix that. Yeah.
You're undervaluing that.
He hasn't even looked at your car yet. He's like, oh, don't worry. That looks like
I got it. There's something there. I got the parts for that.
Yeah. Or I'll get them.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. SickScore.com is where you can head for all the latest fantasy info, sick insights, all that good stuff. We'll catch you next week.